Lights they flicker and the candles glitter like you're in a thriller. Heart goes pum pum pum. Ghostly figures they can get so bitter. Show you once until you can turn back. You don't know where I've been. What's going on inside? Where the monsters like to come alive, come alive. Do you really wanna know me? I'm really not that cozy. It's up to you, so you decide, you decide. Would you love me at my worst till the coffin's in the dirt? Try to break me like a curse, you know that will never work. I'm a little bit absurd, I like dancing on the verge. Anyone can love a pretty little mansion, but could you love a haunted, haunted house?
Hello. It's amazing. I have permission to use this song, and every time I play it on a live, I have to submit the information to YouTube because they get me for the copyright every time.
Wow.
You think that song? Okay, you're okay. But no, gets me every time.
You're absolutely correct. Every time I use Canva, it says you could use this song. You put in the information, and you still get hit, and you got to submit the form, and you'll get it off, but it's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Well, we got, and I forgot to put my bot on, but that's okay for tonight. Got Pat, Pete, Dana B. I think we had Danny was in here earlier.
Dana B.
Unidentified. Hooga. Kay's in here. Be Charming. Yeah, Be Charming's birthday's tomorrow. Oh,
happy early birthday, Be Charming.
So, well, I'll ask a question to you guys on panel. I think Jeff's off using the bathroom or something. But if you can remember back, even when you was a kid, what was your favorite ghost story that you heard?
Ooh, wow. Wow.
Something that's stuck with you all these years, or it might have been something that you heard on Eric's show here in the last couple of weeks.
Dreams. I remember. I don't know why I had this dream. I watch a lot of horror movies as kids. I love horror movies, especially Halloween month. I love horror. I love ghosts and all that. And it must have somehow got trapped in my mind because I remember I had a dream that we came from the car. For whatever reason, I saw the side window open. Instead of going through the front door, I went through the window. And in this dream, I go in the window, and it was dark. It was spooky, and I'm looking around like, what's going on? And then I heard the door knock, like somebody's knocking on the front door. And this is just true. I opened the door. It was Santa Claus wearing a hockey mask, and it had a Christmas tree in his hand, and actually stabbed me with it. And I woke up, and I'm like, I'm like, am I screwed up? Did I just put Jason and Santa Claus together? And did I just really get killed by a Christmas tree?
Now that would make a good movie.
Yeah, you sit there, tell that story to a psychiatrist, figure out what your dreams mean.
We used to have a lot of long legs, like spider long legs. Because I grew up in Kerman, California, outside of Fresno. I remember having another dream where a little spider web created this whole cocoon around my body, and I'm inside the cocoon, and I see that spider, and it's ready to crawl to me, to suck the whole blood out of me. Like you said, it's like, am I screwing up, or is that just?
Well, that's what they said. There's what you dream means something that you're going through and stuff.
See,
so.
we learned is like spider long legs actually are the most poisonous. It's just they don't have teeth. Like
Right.
getting bitten
Yeah.
like black widows and stuff. And I think my dream was like that little spider long legs somehow created a teeth and it was ready to use it on me.
Instead of legs, it was teeth.
Eric's Gettysburg story is stuff of legend. Oh yeah. That wasn't a kid story. That's a real life Gettysburg story.
Mm-hmm. One thing I remember a story my dad always told me. I think my grandpa told him this. It's about the big black toe.
Huh.
This poor family had a potato farm, and that's all they ate was potatoes, stewed potatoes, whatever. It was a bunch of different potatoes and stuff. And there was the father and the mother, the older brother, older sister, and the little girl. And they're all out working, getting potatoes and everything. And the little girl goes thunk, and she hits something. And that's not a potato. And she starts digging it up, and it's a big toe. It's a big black toe. And she takes it over to the mom, and the mom's like, "Wow, where'd you get this?" And she explains she was digging it up. And the mother takes it over to the father and says, look what your daughter found. And wow. And all they can think of, that's meat. we're gonna have a good meal tonight. So they all run in the house, and they cook up this big toe. And they all sit down, and they get their bellies all filled up. They all eat this the meat from this toe and everything. And they set around, and it's time to go to bed. So everybody gets in their beds, and probably around 3:00, there's a boom, 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 boom. I want my big black toe. And the little girl, the older girl, wakes up and, what is that? What is that? And she goes looking for it and doesn't find anything. And then here it goes again. Boom, 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 boom. I want my big black toe. And the older brother, he wakes up and he goes looking around trying to find out where that sounds come from. Didn't see anything. So he goes back to bed, and again, boom, boom, boom. I want my big black toe. And the father and mother get up, and they're looking all through the house. They can't find anything. And they finally go to bed, and boom, boom, boom. I want my big black toe. And the little girl gets up, and she's starting to look around. She goes downstairs and looks, doesn't see anything. And then she hears from upstairs, boom, 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 boom. I'm going to get my big black toe. And then she's looking upstairs, and then she opens the closet door, and then rawr, I got my big black toe. And that was the whole story. And it would scare the crap. And I knew every time that I was going to get that jump scare. And still, I listened to it, and I jumped every time when I was a kid.
That's awesome. I love the way you said it. Big black toe. Something like
I don't know why it was a black toe or anything. That's just the way the story went. I don't know. But yeah, some of those scary stories when you're a kid kind of stick with you. And and I even told my kids the story when they were coming up.
I'm pretty sure you heard of the monkey's paw.
The monkey's paw?
I think that was Edgar Allan Poe, the monkey's paw.
Not that I know of.
Curious
That's-
now.
I can't remember the specifics now. I got to look it up. But that was a story or like a short story I read as a kid, and that kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies or anything spiders, because I could watch any horror movie as a kid. It didn't make a difference. Hellraiser, Chucky, any of them things. But I'd watch a spider movie. Oh man, it freaked me out. I'd watch the movie Anaconda. That was like the scariest movie to me. Not Anaconda, but Arachnophobia. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
If you love spider movies, oh my god, one of the best ones, 8-Legged Freaks.
Oh yeah.
I love those giant spiders. You had the jumping spiders, the spiders in the ground. You had all different kind of spiders in that movie.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about it. I can sit there and watch any type of horror movie, but one type. That's any type of paranormal movie. I cannot watch those.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah.
I love these 2 months because I've been watching horror movies every night starting September 1st. I love horror movies.
Yeah, I think one of the scary one. I don't know. It's the one with the nun.
The Nun. I just watched the sequel at the movie theater last weekend.
Oh yeah.
Nun 2.
And there's that part. The husband and wife. You've done it. The show about them.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah.
Ed and Lorraine Warren. Yeah.
There's the picture there, and they see, you can see it's a picture, and then you turn around and there's the actual nun sitting there. That freaks me out every time. I don't know if it's the nun that's freaky or the scary part of the movie.
I would say the sequel is not, my opinion, is not that scary. It's more adventure versus being scary. I mean, once you get used to that crackling sound they're all using now, crack, crack, crack.
Yeah.
It's like watching the Nun 2 is like you predicted when the jump scares are going to happen, and I don't want to predict and know it's coming. I just want it to happen.
Yeah.
Used to, when I was dating, I would love to take a girl to the movies because, like you said, you just about know when something was going to happen. But then you reach over there, you kind of goose them or kind of like that. You just watch them jump every time.
You guys have one of those like those guilty pleasure type horror movies that most people hate, but for whatever reason you like it?
What was that?
I could, believe it or not, I kind of get into the ones that are so damn stupid. Why did I watch this movie to begin with?
Humanoids from the Deep.
Yeah.
What?
When I was little, I watched that, and and advertised that they had to outlaw it because it was so scary that it was giving people heart attacks, and they would go into shock and things like that.
Yeah, for its time, yeah.
Every year I watched the 1986 Trick or Treat, where you play the record backwards, and then Sammy Kerr comes out, and he hurts people. And it's like for whatever reason, I love that movie. I love the soundtrack. Gene Simmons is actually in a part, and then Ozzy's in it in one part playing a priest. It's a classic.
Seemed like I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
When you said Gene Simmons and Ozzy.
Yeah, you got to type in 1986 because there is another Trick or Treat movie that came out that people get mixed up. It's the 1986.
Okay. I'm gonna have to try to watch that one.
I think you could watch it free on YouTube itself. I think they have one of those, not little grainy, but you can actually
Poltergeist is good too.
Poltergeist, that's a classic, yeah.
The original one.
Yeah.
And the backstory of Poltergeist is even scarier.
What happened to the crew and the cast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And
you're
that-
right. Poltergeist is one of the coolest, scariest in a way because it wasn't rated R. It was one of those rare PG-13s back in the 80s that was actually scary that wasn't R. I mean, nowadays all movies are PG-13, but this is the 80s.
Yeah.
And they actually pulled it off without being an R-rated movie.
And the thing that freaked me out the most, I don't know why, but when the dude was eating that chicken leg, and then he looked at it and there was maggots crawling on it. And then
In the kitchen scene. Yeah, one of those investigators.
That got me right there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. I don't care if there's a ghost flying through the house, just not eating maggots. No.
Do you guys go on paranormal investigations yourself by any chance? You guys
I do. Well, I did. I haven't in a while.
I don't, but I do find it interesting, and I've looked into more people that do it in my state and stuff like that. But no, I've never done it.
No. I've done seen too much stuff already. I'm not getting into that shit. I'm sorry.
screw that.
Yeah,
Because I'm working on. I think you and I talked about it a little bit that I want to do like a 3-4 week road trip to different states and actually go to some of these whatever they consider the hot spots are and actually check them out myself in an adventure. I mean, I've done a few things kind of like that. Like when I was in California, everybody tells me, Eric, the Queen Mary ship is truly haunted. All right. I booked 2 nights there. I even got it on my channel. That's like 5 years ago. And yeah, I went to Queen Mary, stayed there 2 nights.
Nothing happened.
Nothing. Flat. But seems like everybody else who goes there is all catching something. And that's where it made me think, like, are people making up some of this stuff? Because
Well, where did you go?
well, the
Did
Queen
you
Mary,
go throughout the whole thing? Where you're not?
you can sleep there. You can rent a room there. So we rented a room, and both nights, myself, my son, my daughter, we went to every part of the ship that they allow you to go through. They won't let you.
Well, that's the thing. You have to go where you're not allowed to.
Yeah, exactly. And they're supposedly have this one room. It's the most haunted room. Oh yeah, if you want to pay $800. Come on, what a ghost is only going to stay in one room and you have to pay $800 to see it, but the ghost can't go to other rooms?
Yeah. Well, I was there in the 80s. I can't remember exactly when, but I remember at the top, the deck part, they had face painters and cartoon drawers and things like that, and a bunch of little concession stands and stuff. And you could walk around the top area. So me being me, I had to go down and investigate, and the off limit parts where you had to hop over the chain. And so I went down, I was all the way down in the engine room and the bulkheads and stuff, looking around. And when you go down in there where they have the cabins, you can see, because you start at one end and you can see it slope like this, because it's like a really long hallway and you can actually see it where it slopes. And that was the freakiest part, walking on that part. I didn't see anything, but that was the freakiest part, was the walking down that. And it was, I believe the carpet was red too, which kind of gave me the vibe of them twins on
The Shining.
Yeah.
That's the name of the movie.
Yeah, The Shining.
Yeah.
Have I ever when last time I was on here, did I ever tell people like what happened, the story about the Gettysburg story?
I don't think you talked
All
about
right, now let me tell you guys real quick. I'll try to make it quick. But you got to take the story with a grain of salt, because I know this is kind of a hard story for anybody to kind of swallow, and I understand that. And you know, sometimes in life, sometimes things feel they can be too real, right? There's no way something can be real if it's too real. And what I'm talking about is I moved to Maryland. I took a job in Maryland, and my wife wasn't up there yet. She was still in Washington while we sell the house or whatever. My brother took a job at the Smithsonian Museum up in Washington, D.C. because, I was actually in Frederick, Maryland. So, and Frederick, Maryland's next to Gettysburg. So we always go to Gettysburg. And this is like 10 years ago, in a way. And it was like one weekend, because I didn't like Maryland, but Gettysburg was just something cool about it, just because everybody was wearing, civil outfits all year round. It just had the cool environment. So my brother wanted to go to a restaurant in the morning because at the time in Pennsylvania, you can still smoke at restaurants. You can't smoke in Maryland. So when they start banning all restaurants to smoke. So we went to Gettysburg in the morning for him. So just so my brother could smoke at a restaurant. True story. True story. He wanted to feel normal again, he said. Then on the way back, we're driving to the Gettysburg battlefields. And there on the side, there was like a reenactment. Like this big reenactment. But it was like a medical reenactment. It wasn't like the Civil War ones you see where people are battling each other. It was like medical. Like all these doctors and they're working on people. Oh. I mean, it was, and we're like, wow, this is awesome. A reenactment. We didn't know there was a reenactment. This is awesome. There's like nobody there, just us. So we pull over, we get out, and this lady walks up to us and meets us. She had like this big basket. And she guys, did you guys bring something for the feast? I guess back in that day, if you're going to eat, you're supposed to bring something. And everybody was in costume. Everybody looked fantastic. I'm like, we just came from the battle. We lost the food that we're supposed to bring. We had to run. Oh, no problem. So, we're playing along with it, right? We're playing along. And they had like these tents. And we were noticed like, man, these people look real. Like that guy looks like he really did get it like cut off or shut off. And we go to these medical tables and like I see a big pot of boiling hair, like it was horsehair. I'm like, why are you guys boiling horsehair? We ran out on a string to sew people wounds up. So we boil hair, horsehair, because they were cutting the horsehair to get the string loosened so we could sew it. And they learn through the South soldiers, doctors, they learn that by boiling stuff, you kill germs too. So that was awesome. Like, this is fantastic. We're learning, and that is big old fire pit. We're all sitting around just having fun. And my brother's like, man, isn't it weird? We're the only ones here. Like nobody else is showing up. Nobody else showing up. And we're just having fun, telling stories. And we're just sitting here like, God damn, these people are really getting into it. Because they're talking like the battles, like to us, like, I don't know about the fucking battles. I just drove here, but they weren't talking like that. They were talking like real battle. We came from here. He got hurt. And then it was getting like a little bit later, it's like, it's getting a little bit later. Felt like we were there like 4 hours and just having a great time learning about the medical stuff. And it's like, I guess we'll go. And we thought it was just weird because nobody else showed up. I'm like, how come nobody's showing up? That's just strange. How come nobody else is here? It's only us. We loved it. So we get up and we left, and we're driving back to Frederick. And it was kind of weird in a way because when we left, it felt like the sun was going down. But when we left, it got brighter. And the first thing we noticed, we looked at our clocks and was like, dude, we're only there for about 50 minutes. Like 50 minutes, we're there for 3-4 hours. Like, that's impossible. Like, okay, whatever. Now, okay. So we left. I went to work the next day. I was working for a cable company. My brother works for a Smithsonian. He went over there and told people about the thing. My brother comes back. When I come home, my brother comes back from his work. He goes, Eric, I got to tell you something. And I went to work. I told everybody about the reenactment. Guess what? There was no reenactment. and it was like, what do you mean there's no reenactment? According to them, there's no reenactment. And when they do reenactments, I guess they borrow stuff from the Smithsonian for these type of things. I go, there was no license signed for it. There was no permits for it. And like, no, it's impossible. That's impossible. the next day we went back to Gettysburg, and we were like, actually we were going to start it like on purpose, like, hey, that was a fun reenactment yesterday. No, there was no reenactments. We don't have another reenactment coming up in 3-4 months. And it was like, no, there's can't be. We were surrounded by people. We were talking about the horsehair, sitting around the fire with these people. What do you mean it didn't happen? But we looked, there was no story, nothing in the papers, no nothing. And the people in this town, we were trying to sound crazy, like there's no reenactment. Apparently not. And it was just, it's hard to explain because people are like, did you see ghosts? These were real people. Ghosts, you can see through, I'm not an expert on exactly what ghosts supposed to look like, but when you see a ghost from afar, you kind of can tell this is not normal. But these people look normal, but they were just in the Civil War outfits. But to this day, we research, apparently there was nothing there. So it's like, what was that? Did we step into, I hate to use words portals, but when you bring that up, people look at you like you're fucking crazy. But you know what I mean? They do. And, and it was no dreams. Me and my brother were both there. I mean, it wasn't by myself, my brother to this day. And it's just, we don't know how it happened, what happened. But it's one of those things to your mind that it was so real that it can't be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
had a similar thing. It was a lighthouse down in Florida. And it's the same one that the ghost hunters did a thing on. That one time they found something, the next time they really didn't find anything. We went because they had tours where they take you up and show you the lighthouse, and you walk up the windy stairs and everything. Well, we're waiting to go get in to do our because they can only do so many people at a time. So me and a couple other people were due up next, and here comes this old lady, and I thought it was odd that she was wearing old-fashioned clothes. It was the petticoats and all kinds of stuff over top of her, and she's taking us up the top, and we're looking around and everything. She's talking about how we used to do this here, and we used to keep an eye for Civil War boats and things like that. And we come back down, and another lady comes up in normal clothes and says, "Are you ready for your tour?" And the people behind me said, we just done a tour. Oh, who took you? I don't. And I said it was an old lady dressed up in old-fashioned clothes, and they all stopped and said, "You need to go now." And on the way out, there's this room where you can get souvenirs, and they have like pamphlets of places around town and stuff. And up in there's a picture, and that old lady was in that picture. And I said,
"Wow,
that's the old lady that gave us the tour. You gotta go. You gotta go."
Doesn't that hurt your brain because it was just too real looking? It was like this,
and they won't talk about it. They just
said
they
told you just to go. I mean,
Yeah,
they actually like they didn't even want to try to discuss it with you. Like,
yeah, and it was the strangest thing because I didn't know the people who I was paired up with to go up, and they're like, why are they making us leave and stuff? And we're sitting out there talking, and we're sitting there looking at this when we're coming out, and that old picture, and we thought that it was actual a gimmick to scare people. But the fact that they made us leave and not want to talk about it, it made it made it more strange.
That just makes me think. You know what?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I think my brother and I should start doing is go through the pictures of people in that era in that town to see if we could like try to recognize some of them. I mean, we might not recognize, of course, the soldiers because they come from all around, you know, the United States in this war. But
maybe some of the doctors or nurses.
Was that the St. Augustine Lighthouse?
They call it something else, but I can't remember.
Gotcha.
The ghost hunters did well. I've seen them do it twice. They're supposed to. They had done it like 4 times, but they only found something one time, I think.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I like about the ghost hunters is even some of their shows, they don't have anything, just the history they go through and explain the history of the place and stuff.
Yeah.
It's, well, you've talked about it, Eric, about the other investigators.
The Panacola.
What is that? Something grab me.
The Panacola Lighthouse.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Because I'm looking at it right now. The ghost hunters visit the Panacola Lighthouse.
Yeah.
I
believe that's it.
You're
it's
right.
It's a big white one. Well, I think they're all white though.
I mention that all the time. People ask me like what is the biggest difference between Ghost Avengers and Ghost Hunters? You know, people say, well, Ghost Avengers is a little bit more exciting because Ghost Hunters, I'm not saying one's more real than the other. That's up to you. But what I mean is real ghost hunting, most of the time it's 100% boring. And I always say this, you know, like you said, like Zach always gets scared every time they hear something, they hear a noise. When I first worked for a cable company, when I first climbed up a 36-foot ladder up in the sky, my heart was pounding. Okay. First time doing it. But by the time years go by, it's nothing climbing up a ladder, 36-foot ladder in the air.
Yeah.
You would think by the time they're at now that nothing would scare them, right? They're so used to everything. They would get
hi.
I just don't understand that.
Yeah, and that guy's been goosed more times than as much as he's been touched and stuff.
Or how many times he's been possessed?
Oh man, yeah, you don't want to play with that.
Sounds like Biden's close by.
Yeah. Every investigation I've ever been on, you know, thank God, I guess I've never been possessed.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a good thing.
You know, I mean, when people say, "Do you feel how the energy go?" You know, sometimes your mind, you're going to a dark place, and you know you're going to investigation. Nobody wants to admit it, but you can create. You guys feel that energy? You're kind of creating that because you're automatically knowing you're going into a spooky spot, that you're feeling a little colder and stuff. You know, it's you know,
you've already built that framework in your mind. You know, it's subconscious seed has been planted.
It's the everybody sitting in class and one person starts yawning. Everybody, 2-3 different other people start yawning because they see somebody yawning.
Yeah.
Or you smell something burning? Yeah, I can smell it. And there's nothing really burning.
Now, there was a time during a live show. I don't even know what video it was. It was a live show. I think we were at an hour 36 minutes into it, and I was like, because I had Amber's Paraworld coming on. She said, you know, she saw my dead brother next to me. So the next show, I was like, well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna call out. I'm gonna ask this ghost or the spirit to move something for me. It was live on the air. I think Danny Staten in the chat. He'll witness. He'll tell you guys. I'm not lying here. I said, can you move something? Right. I'm looking around, and then I heard something like I heard like scratches on the top corner up here. And when I turned around, I was like, did you hear that? Then all of a sudden, the whole screen just came down. And my things are like I use push pins, you know, to hold it up there. And it just came down live on show. And trust me, guys, I wasn't scared. Oh, right there. Danny says, I saw it in my own 2 eyes. I was excited. I was like, oh my God. I was like, you know what I mean? I was excited that it moved. I wasn't scared. I was like, oh man, I'm going to do it again. You know?
Well, Jeff, you remember when 101 was live and that orb come in?
Yeah.
And he wasn't talking. I can't remember what he was talking, but it wasn't about ghosts or anything. And here comes this orb.
Did you guys notice it? Like while you're still on the show, like somebody said, "Dude, you just had an orb."
Yeah, it was live.
And it just come out of the wall and went into it was one of the rooms it went into.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I'm usually not the thing with the orb. The orb thing, in like the one you showed the other day. The orb.
Oh, the one with
when he was sleeping.
Yeah, Nick Roth when he was with the paranormal lockdown team, not Ghost Adventures. When he was with the paranormal team, yeah.
To me, that looked like a mouse movement.
Dana B said that she remembered that he was talking about his dad when that orb come through.
Oh, was it he talked? Because I couldn't remember what he was talking
Nick was
about.
asleep when this happened. They saw this on film when they woke up and stuff. So he never said anything because he was sleeping when they caught this one orb.
Oh no, he was talking about the Preppy 101.
Oh. You know, orbs are always the hardest to. You know, I don't like to go with a lot of orbs because especially the old cameras, because dust particles look like orbs. Yeah.
Okay, how about this right here? I got the phone camera, and I was standing outside one night, and I just, took a picture of the dark and everything. And when I went inside and looked at it, I bet you it was about 7 or 8 orbs just floating around.
Did you take it with flash?
No.
Oh, okay.
Flash.
Okay.
Because there was enough light out there already. But somewhere
I'm not saying orbs aren't real.
Want to say.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not saying orbs not real. They're just hard to determine if they're real or not. There's just so many factors that goes into.
If you sit there and you're in a room and you see an orb, that's different from trying to look at somebody's. Oh, look what I caught, and they're trying to show you, and it's like,
and you see it eye to eye. Yeah, it's different. Yeah,
it's not the same thing.
The funny thing about that video yesterday on my show, because we're talking about Bobby Mackey's, the Bobby Mackey's supposed to be one of the most haunted places, around the United States, where he wasn't part of it. Nick was showing the owner of the place, the orb, and he's like, yeah, I heard stories like this and all that. And then I show the video right after that of him being interviewed with the news channel. Like, do you believe in ghosts? No, nope. I don't think they don't exist. Like, and he has people paying money to do tours there on TV shows. They flat out ask him. He said, "Ghosts? No, he doesn't believe in ghosts." And you're sitting here like, then why am I watching?
He giggles.
Like, okay, he's honest, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, or is he just saying that on purpose? It was just very strange. All these shows about it. They asked him himself. He said, no, he doesn't believe in ghosts. They're not real.
Yeah.
It just.
Yeah. And that's the thing when, and he may go through his whole life and never see nothing there. And then one time, hear something or a chair move or whatever. And even like the ghost hunters, they'll show somebody something and they still won't believe it. It has to be, you have to be there in that moment to believe it.
Well, it's that thing. It's not true until it happens to you.
Yeah.
You know, and I get that. I get that. Because when you know, no offense to anybody, you know, like I just told, like to them, it's just a story, another story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how can you prove it? How can I prove what I saw in Gettysburg? You know, we didn't have camera phones that many years ago. It's just, you know, it is what it is. I always say it's based on faith. You know, you just got to have faith. But when you look into the paranormal, there are different reasons why a place could be haunted. You know, the place could be haunted, but for a certain family. You know, when that family moves out, like I think Bear Truth was saying that, you know, sometimes ghosts can follow, you know, and then when the next group moves into a house, nothing has ever happened. Yeah. It doesn't mean the place was haunted, because I believe that any place could be haunted because there is death all around us, every spot. It's just maybe it's the luck of the draw, the right moment, or most of the time these ghosts don't want to be seen by you. You know, I feel that they know the kind of person you are, and maybe they just don't want to show themselves in front of you because they don't trust you. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we all knew, right, we would have the answers, but we don't have the answers.
Now I'll go one, and it was me, my daughter. Well, my daughter's boyfriend at the time. I can't remember if my wife was in there or not. We was all sitting down preparing dinner. And here I am with a paring knife peeling potatoes. Okay. I set the paring knife down to the left side of me. That damn knife starts spinning around counterclockwise. And we're all sitting there and we're laughing at it and everything. I put my hand on top of it to stop it. I pulled my hand back off and it started spinning. Yeah, I said, no, this ain't right. So I moved the knife. And it kind of, not as bad, but it did spin a little bit. We got up from the table and walked away.
And this is me and a friend of mine, Lake Ferry. We were chatting, and we were talking, and she brought up witches for I don't know what reason, and we started talking about it. And I said, well, just right over here. And her husband, which is his nickname is Bigfoot. He is from Ohio. And I said, well, he might know about this. It's a witch that people have seen from Salt Fork. They'll see her, and then they'll glance away or something, and then she's gone. Or they'll go to grab their phone and take a picture. Well, the funny thing is, the very next day, somebody sent me a picture. I never said nothing about this on a live or anything. Somebody sent me a picture they took a picture of her at Salt Fork, and I'll show you the picture. And this is a very small picture for some reason, but yeah, you can barely see it. Let me see if I can zoom it in.
Is it that black shadow in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's creepy.
Look like she's sitting there looking at you.
And they said as soon as they looked away, it was gone.
It's like it's wearing like a robe in a way too.
Yeah.
Like there's a little pointy top.
And a lot of people have seen this too. It's just not just a couple people. There's a lot of people that they'll fish on the lake because it's a national forest, and they'll see a lady. It's just a black figure, like a black robe or something, and then they'll glance back over, and there's no sign of the person.
Now, this is in Watts neck of the woods out there, South Carolina. There's an island out there. I cannot think of it. Right before a real bad storm comes up, a man will be walking on the beach telling people to leave. And like within 24 hours, a bad storm will come up. And the last time that happened it was maybe about 5 years ago that they saw the guy. And that's when a real bad hurricane hit that island. And it damn near demolished that island.
I think that's Townville, South Carolina. They call it I think they call it Ghost Island, if I'm not mistaken.
I've not heard that name, but there's one, but yeah, it is on the island. I'm not saying that's not it.
Yeah. I think there's a couple actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's in the books and everything. The Gray Man. That's it. Barry J. Gray Man.
Oh, yeah. I think every state has like a ton of these different stories. Well, even down past Salt Fork, there's I can't remember the name of it. It's some lady. This was back in horse and buggy days, that she was sneaking off to go with another guy from another county that was kind of poor, and she was on the way, and the horse did whatever it does to run off the road, and she had broke her neck. And still to this day, when there's people driving through on that road, there's a lady with no head trying to slow people down from that curve.
Now, where I'm at, I'm about 3 miles from Devil's Stomping Ground, if you ever heard of that. And the community that I grew up in, there's one called Alamance in that area. And it was a battle of Alamance, which has been on Channel 4. I can't think of it. Like a learning station. And then
PBS?
Yeah, PBS. It was on there. And then we got the Battle of Guilford County. And Alamance and Guilford County touches, county lines right there. And they say the Battle of Guilford, you can go down there at certain times of the year and you can hear gunfire and you can smell smoke from the Civil War days. And right there in Alamance, for years, there was a house beside the lake that had a hole in the chimney. Come to find out, it was from one of the Civil War cannonballs. So they redone the chimney, and they found the cannonball inside of the chimney.
That's a good souvenir.
Yeah,
Did you say you're in South Carolina?
No, I'm in North Carolina.
Yeah, he's one of them Yankees. He's up north.
Oh, kiss my royal rump.
Because North Carolina is supposed to have that famous haunting place, Cape Hatteras Lighthouse on Hatteras Island.
Yeah, Harvest Mary Moon lives, let's say within walking distance of that.
Oh, wow.
Now,
because there's supposed to be a ghost story there because of a shipwreck in 1812. And because of that lighthouse is supposed to be haunted.
Yeah.
It's one of my places I wanted to go on my around United States trip.
Well, I'll tell you what, pull up this right here when we get off of here. But one of the best ones is called Brown Mountain Lights, which is in North Carolina, western North Carolina, up in the mountains. And scientists have gone up there, tried to figure it out and everything else. But you can stand on the other mountain that faces it, and you can see lights all in there that's moving. But yet, when you put somebody over there, they don't see nothing.
Mm. Seems like I've heard of that.
And the way our weather is, yeah. And the way our weather is right now, tonight will be an excellent night to go check it out.
Like what state, Bushcraft family, you're in? What state you're in?
Ohio.
I'm trying to. I have my list here. Like Ohio has the famous Moonville Tunnel. That's supposed to be haunted. That I wanted to check out.
Yeah, that's the one where people themselves.
Oh, really?
Or they end up hung up on the.
Oh wow!
I think that's the one where they hang themselves.
The Bunny Man Bridge. No, the Bunny Man Bridge is in Virginia, I think.
Oh yeah, that one.
Because people were known that hang themselves in that area too.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
Creepy story.
Yeah, that one's creepy.
Yeah, anybody in a Bunny Man suit, yeah, with a chainsaw. All right, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
If you're a copycat, that's fine. I'm gone.
TJ Cat said Texas has a lot of haunts. Yeah, that's where Truss lives. So yeah, there's a haunt right there.
Well, Texas, people have said they've seen a lot of ghosts at the Alamo. I mean, that makes sense. There's a lot of death in Texas. Yeah. A lot of battles in Texas.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, what that hospital? It's up north. It's supposed to be the famous haunted. It ain't a hospital. It's an institution.
Oh, Sale Asylum. That's in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah. It costs too much to get in there. Well,
I mean, you got to pay to get in that.
Oh, yeah.
Most places you want to investigate, hunt. It's all about money now.
Yeah.
It's all business. Like you could go to the Conjuring house. You just got to pay for the time that you're there.
Yeah.
What was the famous tale? She whacked her parents 40 times.
Molly Hatchet.
No, that was a singing group. But anyway, you can go and stay at that house in the room that took place. But like you said,
Lizzie Borden.
Yeah, Lizzie Borden.
Oh, Lizzie Borden.
Yeah, I always get the two mixed up.
How can you get Lizzie Borden and Molly Hatchet?
Well, it's a hatchet,
One you listen to, I ain't going there, but when you in a good mood. And the other one is you're running.
You ever been down to Georgia?
Devil has.
Yeah, you see, he didn't fare too well, did he? Johnny took care of him. Got a few hot spots. Savannah's always a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Georgia, Savannah, Lucas Theater is supposed to be very haunted down there.
Yeah, I love Savannah. It's a beautiful city, but it's a lot of history down there.
I got a friend of mine who moved to Savannah and started working down there, and I ain't seen him since.
Oh, he's loving this shoot.
Oh, Lordy.
Last time I went down there, I didn't know they were having it. They were having some type of pirate festival. So there was like 1,001 people dressed up as pirates.
Darn.
Wow.
I would have had fun.
Oh, it was funny. Every pirate theme you could think of was represented.
That's awesome. I always want to go to that town, Pleasant, in Virginia, with the Mothman parade and stuff. I always want to go to one of their celebrations because I think that's awesome.
Mothman.
They made a movie about that, I think.
Yeah,
there is a movie with Richard Gere, but if you're gonna watch that movie, you better have a lot of coffee because that movie, no offense, that movie's so boring. You better have a lot of coffee because Richard Gere is not exciting in that movie at all.
I ain't been too crazy about Richard Gere movies.
I agree. He's one of those boring actors.
Now, the Mothman has been sighted here in North Carolina also. Whereabouts, I'm not exactly sure, but I have heard that.
What? Here. Get up here. Oh, fine. The Salus item up here, Amy from the Ghost Hunters. Well, she used to be with the Ghost Hunters. Because I had, they messaged me every once in a while to go up with them to do the investigating when they do a big event or whatnot, because I end up becoming friendly with her, and I think the other one is Kim or Jen. I can't remember her name, the famous one. And because of they used to do live streams way back when Ghost Hunters used to be really popular. They used to do live streams, and I was their mod on their live streams because they didn't know how to do any of it. And they every time they come to Ohio, they would ask me if I wanted to go up there, and every time I had always had something going on to where I couldn't go up there with them. Yeah.
Now
they get in free. They get in that when they do the investigate, and then they do the party things or the events. They get paid to do it.
Yeah, because it's like a commercial for the place they're going to. It's like free advertisement.
Yeah.
You know,
now, out of all the places I would like to go to for the paranormal, if I was to really get into it, would have to be Salem, Mass, up in there, where they had the witch trials and everything.
Those places probably already done gone by now. I'd be more worried about that one house, even though that nobody's seen anything since the Amityville horror thing.
Amityville.
Yeah, I mean that just the house is freaky by itself.
Oh no, I was talking about the Salem witch trials.
Yeah,
back.
Well, that's what they say that it could have been tied into. Is
okay?
It is part of that. Them witches being burned there.
You know what I wonder? They always say like the families who move in, they never had experience. But you know, if you physically think about it, like the people who live in the Anvil horror house like now, say they do experience a little bit of paranormal. You probably don't want that out because as soon as you let it out, even more people will come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I not live close, but you know, we got Oregon, the next state over, and they have the famous Goonies house. To this day, they have a dirt sign that says you're allowed to take pictures down the road, but please don't come up here. You know, that's even for the Goonies. You know, the amount of people that still go there. Why would you tell people, yeah, it's still haunted? Because you're just going to be slammed with calls, news channels.
Yeah.
Now,
you know,
I've not heard of the Goonie house. Give me a little bit of history on that one.
You know, the famous movie, The Goonies, the house where the family lived in the movie.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You know, and it's not even a popular like haunted house, but it's so popular that people still go up there every single month just to take pictures of the famous Goonies house, or they take pictures of that museum they used in the movie. To the point where they actually had to have a sign to tell people, hey, you can take pictures down here, just please don't come up here.
Okay, I thought it was some other type of story, you know, with the same name.
No.
Okay.
Have y'all ever heard of the TV show The Vampire Diaries?
Oh yeah, who hasn't?
It was It was a pretty popular show, I think. It was filmed here in Covington, Georgia, and it saw a surge of fans and stuff coming. But it also has a lot of paranormal back history. So once they started filming the show there, the city just got swamped with people just coming in wanting to investigate other stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right outside of Atlanta.
Yeah, well, where they filmed all the Walking Dead.
Yeah, they filmed
they
some of
get
that here in
swamped.
Georgia.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like people all around that trying to get in and get pictures and see what.
Yep.
Well, you guys, in Washington, there's a town called Forks, and that town is famous for the Twilight movies, even though it was not filmed in that town. But Forks has massive amount of people go through the town because it's the town that was in Twilight, but it was never filmed in Forks. But the town have grown so much because of it.
Now, do they have things there that say, vampires this and werewolves
Yeah,
this?
they have souvenirs.
Okay.
They have they embraced it.
Roswell, yeah.
Roswell, yeah. You expect to see it there, yeah.
But the famous house that they use in the Twilight was actually the house, the owner of Nike's in Oregon. They filmed that. They use a Nike house, but they said it's Forks, and everybody goes to Forks. Young people thinking they're all looking for this house. They're like, oh, dude, that's 4 hours up the high freeway in Oregon, Beaverton.
Oh yeah, Lost Boys. That's a classic. I love
that was a good one.
Have any of y'all ever done like a investigation where you go out and Western towns, the ghost towns, and done anything like that in those?
Tombstone. I didn't investigate. I was a kid at that time, but I was all through the desert around it and everything because I was there for about a month and a half.
Now I'd love to go through that town, Tombstone.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you guys something weird that happens. That it's one of those hard things to kind of believe too. When my brother passed away, he had this different, not the Hellsborough whatever Ouija board, not that brand you buy at the game section inside of a store. He actually had this Ouija board that was specially made or whatever. And after he passed away, my brother and stuff, we like, no, we don't want this Ouija board in the house because now it's connected with our brother in his death, and so we threw it away in the garbage. We threw it in the garbage, and then the next day, it was in the room. And we asked people in this house. We asked my wife, "Come on, did you guys go in the garbage on purpose, trying to play a prank and put this Ouija board?" And everybody says, "No, we would never do that. We would never touch the Ouija board." My wife and they said they swear they didn't do it. We're like, but we know we threw it, and my brother threw it away again, and it appeared again, and then it was like,
wow.
And he asked everybody, somebody's doing this, and nobody says no. And we do have a Ring camera, and we looked at the Ring camera to see if anybody going out there to sneak and putting it back, and no, nobody touched it. Nobody went to the garbage can, but somehow 2 times in a row, this board reappeared. It's just one of those things like somebody had to do this, but there was no evidence of somebody taking it back out of the garbage and putting it back in the room.
Yeah, that's freaky there. I don't know if I'd mess with that myself.
I would have had to burn it.
Yeah.
Actually, that's my brother actually did burnt it. He broke it. He burnt it up because we're not playing with this no more.
Yeah, ain't playing this game.
Now I've heard that's one of the hardest boards to ever burn. That practically you cannot burn a Ouija board.
Well, who is that game company now?
Milton Bradley? No.
I don't
Parker
think so.
Brothers.
Might be Parker Brothers.
They make one.
They sold the most of them. I forget who it was.
Let me see.
Carson.
Parker Brothers.
Parker Brothers. Yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, that's who the company is. I couldn't think of it either.
Those ones, I mean, I don't think those have anything to do with anything unless it comes from you. You're pulling it from it.
Right. Now,
but the old ones that were made out of handmade stuff and got like witches symbols and stuff on them. Yeah, that
Yeah, it's got that energy. It's got they put that energy in it.
Yeah.
Now, when I was working up in the mountains, and I'm talking, way back in the, let's say, early 1900s or whatever, I have found a Ouija board. I didn't know that much about them. I brought it home with me. But wife looked at it and she said, I don't want that in my house. And I kept it out there in the building. I think it stayed out there for about a year, give or take. The boy that lived behind me, he saw it and said, can I have it? And I said, fine, but I ain't got the triangle piece that goes with it. He said, I can fix that. And after he got it and everything, what was about a month later, he was saying weird stuff was happening to him, up in that house. I'm sitting there, hey, that's your problem. Don't bring it here.
Yeah.
Muslim thing, the devil.
I've been in some really old-fashioned people's houses, and because where my grandpa used to live, it was more like a little shanty, but there was farmhouses around, and we would go over for a visit. And after we left, I would always ask my grandpa, I said, why do they have scarves over all their mirrors? And he was said, well, that's their belief that evil spirits had come out of the mirror. I was, why would they have the mirror if there's going to be evil spirits? Because my grandpa didn't even have a mirror. When he shaved by memory, I guess, because he just got that straight razor and did his thing and didn't have a mirror or anything. And I always thought that was really strange. Why the fact that all their mirrors were covered with scarves or something so that evil spirits didn't come out. And I'm like, then if they're so worried about him coming out, why do you have a mirror?
Well, now the way it was taught to me, and my mother told me this, back in 1800s, when people passed, they would cover the mirrors.
Yeah.
Because their soul could get trapped in the mirror. That's the reason they covered them.
I've heard that.
So,
have you guys ever tried Bloody Mary in a mirror at midnight? Or like 3 o'clock in the morning?
When
I have many moons ago.
Hey, your moons are about like mine.
We did a show, and as I was asking people in the chat to go do it, they come back next day, and everybody's like, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Come on, I go do it for the show, do it for the experiment." And
I'm gonna tell you straight up right here, right now, I won't do it.
Or Candyman.
Candyman, you gotta say that 5 times.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that one either.
Okay.
Well, it's 8 o'clock. I wanted to see if I can get everybody to head over. There's a benefit for Joe Snyder. He was on my show. It's been a while. Let
Joe's
me
a
go
great
ahead and
guy.
post. Yeah, he is a great guy. And I was shocked. I know he had some health problems, but I didn't know it was to that extent.
Yeah, that was the show that I kind of broke down on. That
Yeah.
just everything just hit. And hearing his story, I have a friend who has stage 4 cancer, and it's just like you sit there like in disbelief because these are great people. He's a kind person. It shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? It's just,
and that's
man.
the thing. We're after the show, we were sitting there talking backstage, and he says, "Well, in a couple weeks, I'm going to have you up because do the bushcraft thing and tell the difference between a bushcraft shelter and the Bigfoot shelter that everybody sees." And I didn't even think nothing about it, that he didn't contact me, and to find out that he was having troubles.
Yeah, I had to show that video of them talking about Joe because I had to like recover, like I had to like take a break.
Yeah,
it's just,
and it's very weird. StreamYard has a thing to where you can connect with other people, and he contacted me because of the bushcrafting thing, because he wanted to do a show on the bushcraft stuff. And I said, sure. And he said, and I said, well, I can have you on my show too. And he said, well, let's do yours first. And that's how we met up. And
I used to talk to him through Magnolia Monster Channel. We will go on there. He'll jump on. I'll jump on. We would have like this big, huge panel. And just, if anybody knows him, meets him, you'll love the guy. I mean,
everybody,
is so kind.
Except for one person, but she was one of those that there's some Bigfoot people out there that make things up. I'll put it that way.
Well, I want to thank you for sending me a link to join you guys today. This is always fun. And I don't know if you guys ever heard of Space Out Radio YouTube channel. I'm going to be on it this Sunday with Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah.
On her channel. And then on Monday, I don't have a link up yet, but the Berkshire UFO famous Berkshire story, Tom Reed, where the story is about the kid who's seen it. The actual person himself is actually coming on my channel on Monday. I'm going to interview a person that was literally there with that famous Berkshire UFO incident, who said, he's been, he was abducted by one of the ships.
Oh,
wow.
So if you guys, I'm just telling you now, like if you look up Berkshire story, you'll see Tom Reed, one of the famous abduction stories, and so coming on my show on Monday to talk about it. Like, oh, cool.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
I just checked. 101 is going live tonight.
Okay.
Well, I'll drop off, and thank you again for inviting me to your channel.
Yep.
Eric, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you all.
Sir.
This
Pleasure.
is fun.
So,
Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and drop that link if you guys want to head on over and
out.
This is for the Joe Snyder benefit, I guess it's called. Head on over there, and we'll catch everybody later. We'll be back Monday.
Yeah. Unless something terribly happens.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
And we'll catch everybody on the next one. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks, mods, for keeping everything going, and we'll catch you on the next one.
God bless and out.
Peace, love.